welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hello, welcome. My name is Ira. We're doing a project management video today, so let's get straight into it. All right guys, so today we're coming with a very highly requested video because some of y'all are playing circus at work. You're juggling a lot of projects and it is getting you a little bit overwhelmed. So I'm coming to give you 10 top tips on how you can juggle multiple projects. Now, especially if you're new to project management and you get your first PM role, you might be given more than one project to manage at a time. They will tend to be smaller projects rather than a massive one that's multi-million pounds. But either way, when you are given more than one project to deliver, that will mean that you're dealing with multiple budgets, multiple schedules, multiple risks, multiple stakeholders. It can often become a lot very quickly. To juggle and manage effectively multiple projects, you need to be on top of your organization, time management, and expectation setting. So the tips that I'm going to give in these videos will be hitting mainly on those three aspects. If you're struggling, it's okay. It's happened to the best of us. I've also worked in an environment where I've had multiple projects. I thank God now I just have one massive program, but I've been in those situations. So these are tips that I use that really helped me. Let's get it popping. So number one, it might seem obvious, but believe me, I've seen it not being done. And that is to keep each of your project documents in a different area. Guys, there's zero reason why all of your project plans for each of your projects should be put in a folder that just says project plans. Like, no, that's how you pick up the wrong plan and you're working to different dates for a different project. Everything should be separate at a top level in your SharePoint or on your desktop, wherever you keep all of your key documents. You should have a folder that says Project A, and then in that you should have a folder for project plan, your risk log, your executive reports, your budget, etc. All of those documents should be put in separate folders within the top level project. I hope that makes sense. Do not, for the love of God, just have a folder that says budgets and you keep all of your budgets for all of your projects in there. It's so easy to just mix up the budgets, especially when working with numbers. You can get confused super easy. If your boss asks you to quickly send you the file, you might send the wrong one. It's a big hubbubaloo. Don't let it happen to you. So number two, and also focusing on organization here, is to manage your emails or your Outlook correctly. First of all, let's talk about emails, guys. If you're a project manager and you have multiple projects, you will be getting minimum 100 emails a day, and I'm not even capping. That is my life on an every single day basis, especially if those projects are in flight. You cannot afford not to open them up. I know it seems like a lot, but you cannot afford not to. Make sure you are opening up your emails. Now, when you do open up your emails, it's so important for you to sort them ASAP, as soon as you can, into a folder for each of the projects. So what I would suggest is under your inbox, create a folder that says Project A, Project B, Project C. As soon as the emails are coming in, you've read it, go and put it into the folder which it pertains to. And that way, if you're going back to look for an email, you know exactly where to go and which project it pertains to. When it comes to meetings in your calendar, I also advise you to color coordinate them based on your project. So for example, make Project A blue, Project B purple, Project C yellow, and then when you have different meetings in your calendar, you will know which meeting is for which project. I've had times in the past when I was managing multiple projects where I've gone into a meeting thinking it was for a different project, but guess what? It was not. It just was not. So yeah, that was a bit of an ick. On top of this as well, when you're sending out meeting invites or even just emails as well, put the name of the project in the subject of the email or in the subject of the meeting invite first. So put Project A and then go on and say whatever the email or whatever the meeting is about. It's so key to do this because you will be sending back and forth lots of emails, lots of meetings and all of this, and you need to know by just looking at it which project it relates to. The easiest way to do this is by putting the project name first, then put in the subject after. Number three, then make sure your project goals, objectives and expectations are set from day one and they are signed off by the necessary stakeholders. When dealing with multiple projects, it's so key that everyone knows what they're gonna get, when they're gonna get it, and so lots of questions are not coming to you out of the blue during the life cycle of these projects. It's irritating, it will defocus you, and it will just add to your stress. Make sure everything's marked down in your project charter for each of your projects, and make sure it's signed off by whoever needs to see it, so we are very, very clear. Hey guys, this is what we're doing. I don't want to hear no rubbish at the end. I'm gonna slap you with this document. See that signature there? Yeah, that was you. So don't come and tell me you wanted something different, because I ain't got time for that. Oh, I'm already on project B. Let's not do that. Next then is to make sure you're setting your priorities and working on what's important first. When there's a lot to do, it's important that you identify what's urgent and what's critical and do those activities first. A way that I've learned to do this is to identify what the critical path is on my project. And if any of the activities on any of my projects are coming up and they are touching the critical path, guess what? They get priority. I know that if I miss any of those activities on my critical path, my end date on the project is going to move out, and that is not good. At the end of every day, take 10 minutes before you log off to plan for the day ahead. Understand what are your critical tasks that need to be completed, what needs to be at the top of your list. What did you say you were going to do tomorrow, but there's a little bit of flexibility here. If it doesn't get done tomorrow, it's not the end of the day. Push it out to the next day. That's absolutely fine. There's no reason why you should be doing tasks that are not absolutely important on a day where you have no capacity. You need to know the difference between the two, and as a rule of thumb, like I said, identify your critical path, and that is what you should prioritize. The next one is to empower your team by delegating activities that they can do, especially when it's not actually in the realm of the things that you should be doing. It's very common for project managers, including myself, I hold up my hands, I'm guilty as charged. It is common for project managers to take on a lot of activities, even if it's not within the realm of their work, because they know it needs to get done. Either they can't get someone else to do it, so I'm just gonna do it, or I could just do it faster. Guys, when you're overwhelmed, when you're dealing with multiple projects, you can't afford to do that, because you need to focus on staying organized and staying on top of the tasks that are most critical. Delegating to your team, letting them know, hey, by the way, this task sits with you. I need you to do this. How can I help you to do this? But also putting that responsibility on them, making it clear, is so key. Otherwise, you're gonna be adding on extra bits of work that are not for you. Next then, and I don't think enough people do this, is to overlay your project plans. What do I mean by this? A good way to have visibility of what the pinch points of your projects will be, where you're likely to be very, very busy for a period of time or ask for extra assistance or a bit of capacity ahead of schedule, is by putting all of your project plans, or your schedule should I say, on a timeline. Put them one on top of each other. That way you know, okay, January, these are the main activities happening. February, March, April, where can I see a lot of workload happening? And therefore you'll be able to plan in advance to say, hey, see this in June? There's like 5 deliverables due in June. I'm gonna need a bit of help in June. I'm gonna need to ask for extra resources to come in at that time. This is a great way to have early visibility of your workload, so it doesn't just creep up on you and you can plan for it in advance. Also, because you're working on multiple projects, you're likely to have less time to spend on every single one of those projects. You need to look for an efficient way to get updates. And in my experience, a very efficient way to do this is by having weekly meetings. This is a meeting that you've blocked out this time with your team. You get them to prioritize that meeting so everyone joins. And at that meeting, you get an update on the progress that we've made. We can go through risks. We can go through upcoming deliverables, whatever issues are coming up on the project. Try to get your team to give that update rather than you giving that update as well. And you can take the time to take the minutes and also problem solve during that meeting. Now, I'm not saying there's not going to be multiple meetings or times that you're talking to your team, maybe not even in a formalized sense throughout the week, but if you have one meeting, especially with your core team, where you are all aligning in one session, it will help you just to reset and say, hey, this is where we are. I understand, I have the latest, everyone's aligned on this, and then we can make an action plan for what needs to happen next. In the same vein, one thing that I did on my last project, which was absolutely superb for me, it just helped me keep on track of everything, was to have an end of week stand up with my team. It was just simply a 15-minute meeting on a Friday, preferably, where each of my team say, hey, what they've done this week, what they're focusing on for next week, and also any issues that came up during the week that I should be aware of. It was so great for me to just, at the end of the week, know exactly, hey, this is where we are, this is what's gone wrong, this is what I need to focus on. But then also I was able to let people know, hey, when it comes Monday morning like this is what you need to do. This is what you need to do. We don't need to wait for us to have a meeting on Monday to know where we're moving forward. Number 8 is to block out time in your diary for admin and also for lunch, because a girl gotta eat. When you're working on multiple projects, multiple people will need you. So they'll put stuff in your diary. Hey, we need to chat about this. We need to chat about this. I need to chat about this. Until soon you'll see that you are doing nothing but chatting. You're on calls all through the day, and that's all good, you know, because I like to get updates and I need to know where things are going wrong, and I can set the objectives and the prioritization. Yeah, okay, cool, but when are you going to write up those minutes that your team had actions to do? Yeah, because now you're 2 days behind on the minutes, your team aren't doing anything, and now you're behind on your schedule. Do you get what I mean? In as much as it's important to communicate and ensure that everyone is on the right track, you also need to do those little tasks like writing up minutes, doing reforecasts for your budgets, reviewing your project plan, knowing exactly, hey, this is what's going on, updating executive reports, all of those little activities that are admin based, you need to block out time for those. And you can't do that while you're constantly on a call. What I do is to literally block out time in my diary, like 2 weeks in advance, so that no one can just put in a meeting. I'm already busy. You don't need to say what you're doing, just put private, or if you don't want to put private, just say exec review or reforecast, whatever it may be. The important thing here is to block out that time so someone doesn't block it out for you. The next one is to have a regular review at least once a week of your project schedule, your risks, and also to write down, have a written project status report. The report doesn't need to be long. It can literally just be 3-4 lines, but to hand you should have at least something that says, hey, we are on track. These are upcoming deliverables. This is what we're working on. This is the latest budget. These are the risks that we're working on, and just have it in a written state. So also to you, in the top of your mind, you know, hey, okay, these are my priorities. This is what I'm working towards. And if anyone asks for an update, this is the latest. Reviewing things like schedules and your risks can be boring, but it's the only way you're going to know whether you're actually moving towards the goal. With that, make sure you have an action log. All this is a log that says, hey, these are all of the actions that I've given out during the week or the last 2 weeks, and this is the latest update. Keep it in one document for each project, because you're going to have multiple meetings with multiple actions which you've probably sent out via email. It's all about having visibility and collating information into one place, because you can't afford to waste time looking for this information. And then lastly, guys, and this could be a little bit contentious, but I want to just encourage you to sometimes just throw up your hands to your boss and say, hey, I'm at capacity. I can't take on anymore. When you're managing multiple projects, I won't cap, I won't lie, at times it will feel like hell. It will feel like, damn, this is a lot. Now imagine if your boss or some other stakeholder or whoever it is comes and now asks you to do extra on top of that. It's just like, you just want to kill me all at once. Just take the bullet to my head. We don't want no bullets to no one's head, but this is where you also need to be very vocal on what you can do and what you can't do. I know a lot of people struggle with this. Saying no to your boss, sometimes it doesn't sound too good. You want to be proactive. You want to show them that you're willing to take the extra step, and that's all good, but at times you also need to know where to draw the line. My mum actually sent me a post on LinkedIn, and it was about how to say no to your boss in 8 different ways. I thought it was a really well written post, so I'm going to link that down below for whoever may need it. At times you just need to say, hey, I can't do no more. I've already got all of these balls or projects that I'm juggling. If you add one more, they're all gonna fall on the floor, and we don't want that. And we ain't gonna let that happen, guys, because our projects are gonna do well. They're going to be fine, and you're gonna juggle them well with all of these tips that I've just given you. All right, guys, so that is it for this week's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a big thumbs up. Remember to subscribe as well. And yeah, guys, let's keep the conversation going in the comments. How are you doing? How many projects have you got? Are you managing it well? Are you not managing it well? Are any of these tips helpful? Let me know. I am here to help you. So do drop me a comment and I'll get straight back to you. And until next time, I'll see you later.